This is Minecraft Bedrock, and in this video, I'm surviving for 100 days. My goals are simple: get into beekeeping, slay the ender dragon to get the elytra, build a beautiful town for the villagers, and finally, upgrade our farms. I'm sure you'll pick up some awesome building tricks from me along the way. So, without wasting any time, let's get right into it. Welcome back! In this episode, we're going to build some huge projects. But before that, there's something I need to add to my house. So let's grab this tree first. Alright, now we'll plant it and wait for it to grow. Yeah, right, like that's gonna happen. Let me go grab some bone meal. Much better. Now let's break the wood and wait for a sapling to drop. The reason I'm doing this is to build a beautiful, custom tree right on top of my cave house. I repeated this until I got the exact amount of leaves I wanted, and once I was done, I got a solid night's sleep. Okay, there are a few more materials I need. Let me sort that out. Let's go. First, I need to flatten the area a bit. Alright, now we can start. I'm making a wood pile like this, going up 2 blocks from the middle, and placing a stair right on top. Perfect. Now, let's give it that root look. Alright, time to add the leaves. And hey, while I'm adding these leaves, you could hit that subscribe button, right bro? Look, I saw you didn't subscribe. Do it right now, and hey, drop a like and a comment while you're at it. Anyway, I placed the leaves randomly, and my tree is officially finished. The cave house and the tree. I think they make an awesome duo. What do you think, man? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Alright, let's plant these saplings back into the pots so they don't stay empty. Of course, while we were busy with the tree, our crops grew. Let's harvest these so they don't go to waste. First, the sugarcane, then the potatoes, and let's get the wheat too. I mean, what else are we gonna feed the animals with, bro? These are important things. Anyway, after harvesting my crops, I went next to the house with my best friend in this world to build a mine shaft. Oh, by the way, suggest a name for my dog in the comments. The poor little guy is still nameless. Anyway, when I started digging the hole, something very interesting happened. I mean, okay, maybe not that interesting, but my mine shaft idea totally went to trash. So, I filled up that opening and went to gather some stone instead. Let's go and gather some stone, man. I gathered a ton of stone. Just look at how much area I mined out. Anyway, let's head back now. I came home and put my stones in the chest. Since we're going to need different materials for the farm, I had to go down into the mines. I gathered some iron and coal. And of course, hunted a few mobs. Alright, let's go home now. That's enough mining adventure for today. Alright, now we can finally start building the mob farm. Let me grab the items from the chest first. Okay, now let's head to the construction site. First, I need to tidy up the area a bit. I'll set up a crafting table and dump some items into the chest. Man, my inventory is literally overflowing, and I've still got more materials back at the house. Anyway, I headed back home, grabbed the remaining supplies, and returned to the farm area. Okay, now we can officially start the build. First, I'm digging out 4 blocks, then I'll place the chests and connect the hoppers on top of them. Alright, that's enough for today. Let's go rest. Hahaha, just kidding. I just went to sleep to skip the night and got right back to work. And started on the main structure of the farm. First, I'm surrounding the hoppers with blocks, then I'm going up 21 blocks high. Once I reached the top, I placed 7 blocks out from each side. Then I surrounded the whole thing with blocks again. Now we need to completely close off this area. Let's fill this whole space up. To maximize the efficiency of this farm, we need to light up the entire surrounding area. Let's get that done before I forget. Alright, back at the top. Time to close off the farm's perimeter. After that's done, I'm making an infinite water source, then placing the water in the corners. Now I'm placing a whole stack of trapdoors here. Okay, we're in the final stages. I'm going to make a bunch of slabs using the stone cutter and close off the roof. Let's go! Finally, we're covering the top with slabs so the mobs can't see us, and more importantly, so they only spawn inside. Before I forget, let's make sure the surrounding area is fully lit. Then I'm going to stay AFK for a bit and test the farm's efficiency. Let's see how this farm performs. Alright, this is the yield after staying AFK for 2 days. Not bad at all if you ask me. Anyway, I want to get into beekeeping now. So, let's head back to the base and then head out on an expedition to find some bees. Wait, our crops are fully grown again. Let me harvest these real quick. Okay, I made another pickaxe, and now, let's try to get some enchantments, bro. Maybe we'll get lucky with a good enchant and I can combine the pickaxes. Ooh, yes, that's what I'm talking about. We have a perfect pickaxe now. Let's combine these. Oh man, finally. We'll sort out the other tools slowly over time. After that, I did a quick inventory cleanup and bred my animals to increase their numbers. Then, I crafted a campfire and set off on my journey to find some bees. Oh look, pumpkins! Let's grab these, they might come in handy. I should probably pick some flowers too. You never know when you'll need them, right? I'm looking around, but I don't see anything yet. Let's keep moving, guys. After traveling a bit further, aha! Yes, we found them, baby. Let me craft a boat real quick. There we go. Let's head out. I planted some flowers here so they can start making honey. I'll collect the honey, craft some hives, and then we're kidnapping those bees. Anyway, after spending some time there, I found another hive in a cherry blossom biome. I hung out there for quite a while and gathered a ton of honey. Alright, time to head home. Once we're back, I'm going to build an awesome bee farm. Wait, what? What are you doing here, you creep? Anyway, let's craft those beehives. First, let's set up the paths. And I'll place the hives right here. This spot looks great. I'll plant flowers all around so the bees can produce honey. Finally, I'm crafting a few more materials and moving on to the actual build of the bee farm. Okay, yeah, it'll do for now. I think it turned out pretty good. Alright, it's finally time to go and slay the dragon. But before we do that, there are a few things we need to take care of. First, I grabbed all my crops from the barrel. We're gonna sell these. Then, I collected the honey. Okay, I found the village. Perfect. This guy is buying potatoes. Let's sell them all. Let's sell the carrots too. Alright, we're done in this village. Moving on to the next one. Okay, I'm here. Oh, look. Let's grab this coal. Man, I really wish they would fix the villager mechanics in Bedrock Edition. I swear, I spent an hour trying to find a villager who buys wheat. But finally, I found one. So, I sold all the wheat to him as well. Before heading to the end, I'm planning to turn our base into a proper village. I'm going to build a few houses and bring some villagers over here. So we need to gather materials. I threw the stones into the furnace, grabbed the spruce saplings from the chest, and started grinding for wood. Then I gathered some flowers. I'll be using those to breed the bees. Just doing my classic village chores here. Alright, let's craft those eyes of Ender, baby. Ooh, yes. Now, before heading to the end, I'm starting to enchant my gear. Let's craft the firework rockets too. We're gonna need them once we get that elytra. Oh man, finally, the preparations are complete. We are officially ready to set off on our adventure. Let's go. Alright, throwing the first eye. And it's going this way. See you at the stronghold then. Hoop, hello there. Let's place the eyes. Yes, the battle is starting, bro. Let's go. Okay, we're here. First, let's blow up the crystals. Wait, slaying the dragon in Bedrock is actually so easy. Look at this, I'm literally shredding it. It's so good. And finally, I've managed to kill the dragon. Let's hunt one of these guys for an ender pearl. Okay, now we can go find an end city. Let's go! I went through the portal and yes! I found an end city with a ship. I killed a few more endermen to gather pearls, and then I took out the shulkers in my way. Dragon head. Poop! Hello, darling, and yes! We finally have an elytra. Let's test this out. By the way, this is my first time getting an elytra in Bedrock. Now, let's head back home and finish our remaining tasks. We still need to enchant our elytra with unbreaking and mending. And we're home. Let's get some sleep. Alright, I've got 55 levels, so it's the perfect time to enchant my gear. After enchanting, I harvested my crops, and look, we have a new friend! We can fly around with our happy ghast now. Anyway, after spending some time with our new buddy, I started gathering the rest of my crops. Then, I found a donkey and loaded all the goods onto him. We're heading out to sell these to the villagers to earn some emeralds. After that, we'll buy the enchantment books we need. But first, I need to make the sails and then build some houses for the villagers. Let's go! When I got to the village, I couldn't find a suitable villager to trade with, so I headed back home. I started thinking about my happy ghast again, so I put on my elytra and flew to the snowy biome. I gathered some snow there and headed back. Once I was home, I crafted a ghast saddle, hopped on, and went for a little ride. Anyway, for the villager houses, we're gonna need some calcite and other materials, so I went out to gather them. I managed to collect a ton of blocks. Then, I came home and went into sleep mode. Next up, gathering some moss. Let's get that out of the way too. Alright, now that I've sorted out the necessary items, I'm moving on to the house plans. First, let's lay down the paths. Once the paths were finished, I started the foundation of the first house using stone bricks. After finishing the foundation for the second house, I started adding mossy stone blocks. You guys know me, I love mixing blocks in my builds. It just makes everything look so much better. Anyway, I finished the main structure of the houses. I used calcite, spruce logs, stairs, slabs, and trapdoors for the details. So, this is how it looks for now. Next up, the roofs. But first, let's get some sleep. Alright, now that I'm awake, I'm working on the roofs and adding a bunch of details to make the houses look more aesthetic. I'm keeping this part brief because there isn't much to explain. Okay, the basic look of the houses is done. Now let's decorate the paths and the surroundings. And for the love of God, let's organize this inventory. Everything else is finished anyway. After tidying up my entire inventory, I moved on to fixing the interior of the enchanting area. Then I crafted some lanterns to light up the villager houses and the area around them. Alright, now we can finally start bringing our villager friends over. First, let's craft a boat. Now, where were my leads? Aha, here they are. Get down here, man. The followers and I are waiting for you. Let's go. Anyway, after attaching the boat, I headed to the village and, well, let's just say I kidnapped some villagers. Yes, we finally have a villager. Now, I'm going to use the place and break tactic with the lectern to try and get a mending book. Finally! Yes! It costs 24 emeralds? Fine, I'm coming right back with them. And boom, we got the first book. Next up is Unbreaking. I'll keep this short. I brought the villager over, did the same tactic, and got the Unbreaking enchantment too. Then I went ahead and upgraded my entire set and all my gear. And finally, I slapped all those enchantments onto my elytra. Yes, now we can fly forever. This is absolutely perfect. Of course, once all that was done, I finished up some classic busy work around my village and called it a day. We are so close to completing the 100 days. For this final stretch, I'm going to build a baker's house, and on top of that, we're going to expand our farms even more. I'm starting by throwing some stones into the furnaces, then I'm flying off to a cave to gather some granite. I'm also collecting some clay to make bricks, and after that, I'll grab some spruce and oak logs. The materials are almost ready. While the stones and bricks are smelting, I'll start prepping the area where I'm going to build. Alright, all the materials are set. Let's go finish this build. I finished the house pretty quickly. Well, the build actually took a while, but I'm fast forwarding it for you guys. For the materials, I basically used bricks, stone, granite, and spruce logs. You can use these as a base if you want to build this house yourself. And finally, the house is finished. I think it looks amazing. I won't do the interior right now. We'll save that for last, or maybe for the next episode. Man, it looks good. Without wasting any time, let's move on to the farms. I'm building them the same way we did in the first episode. If you haven't watched that part yet, I highly recommend checking it out from the link in the description. Finally, I'm adding the finishing touches and planting the seeds. Once the farms were done, I decorated the surroundings. This place is going to be overflowing with builds soon. Alright, everything is finished. Let's take a flight and see the view. Man, this looks incredible. We completed the 100 days in the best way possible. If you're curious about what's going to happen on day 200, you definitely need to subscribe. Anyway, like I said, if you haven't seen the first episode, make sure to watch it. You'll pick up some great building lessons there. It's on the screen right now. Just click it. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.